This is the Beater Channel in Norton, Massachusetts, server Bristol County, southeast of Massachusetts, and the world. And come on, everybody, it's time now for the morning news of the stories of Friday, July 17th, 2026. Hey, good morning, y'all. This lovely Friday morning, July 17th, 2026. It's 7:55 a.m. and it's 64 degrees, 67 degrees, and podcast guys here on the nines. Top story is last night in his primetime address, President Trump alleges China meddled in 2020 election and questions voting security ahead of the midterms of this year. Iran says civilian infrastructure hit by latest U.S. strikes expands attacks to Syria. At least 2 dead in Texas floods as hundreds rescued in the same region as Camp Mystic disaster. How Andy Burnham, King of the North, conquered UK politics. Longtime Boston police officer charged with assault and vandalism. CDC FDA linked Taco Bell lettuce supplier to multi-state Cyclosporus outbreak. As Cyclospore linked to Taylor Farms lettuce sent to Taco Bell. China just erased America's AI lead. Nasdaq futures fall 2% as global chip sell-off continues. Netflix stock top on revenue miss. Look at it, stocks now down 105 at 67 to 52, 552.97. S&P 500 30.63 at 75, 33.77, and Nasdaq down 387.28 at 25, 881.95. ACA and Medicaid changes airing over health earning. Australia deeply frustrated over Laos methanol poisoning charges. South Korea's exports of K-pop albums hit a record high in the first half of the year. Government data showed Friday, driven in part by BTS's fifth studio album, Arang. North Korea warns of chain of countermeasures over U.S.-led RIMPAC exercise. Alleged Iranian spy arrested by British counter-terrorism police. Kim Jong-un meets China's top political advisor, Wang Huning. Iran early Friday said it struck a U.S. Special Operations Command Center in southeastern Syria, escalating the war over the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of State Marco Rubio unveiled a new policy to impose visa restrictions on far-left terrorists. The U.S. Treasury Department dog found pregnant on the Lona side Weapon Dog Park now headed home, and her 6 puppies also adopted with a happy ending. North Edinburgh's Camp Braveheart Heart helps kids deal with grief as kicking the ball, climbing ropes, making arts and crafts, and taking the main seeming like generic that most kids enjoy. The Taunton Junior City Open is back for 2026. Titan reopened honors Richard Barrett for service and need tech help. Taunton Library offers free support. Young people in Brooklyn can circle and find jobs as Youth Work steps in. Old Colony Elders Services expands to Randolph, Quincy, and more. Dutch Tall shipped off free tours at Marina Bay this weekend in Quincy. Take a look at stocks now, down 105 to 67 to 52, 552. And take a look at the sports scene at 7:58. Last night, New York Mets beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1. WNBA action, Portland Fire 75, Washington Mystics 56. NBA Summer League action, Dallas Mavericks 97, Oklahoma City Thunder 87. Houston Rockets 100, Brooklyn Nets 83. LA Lakers 105, Chicago Bulls 82. Golden State Warriors 87, New York Knicks 77, Memphis Grizzlies 96, Atlanta Hawks 64. Toronto Raptors 99, Miami Heat 90, and Portland Timbers 108, Denver Nuggets 101. LeBron says he's not ready to reveal next team. Reem U.S. and Chuck at poor showing in World Cup exit. Messi to critics number one sent to Argentina. Mets returning with victory under Philadelphia's hazy skies. World Cup winners to claim championship rings, and Giannis Weber takes the win with the Miami Heat. And now look at the weather traffic watch at 7:59. Beep beep. On the MBTA Orange Line, delays about 10 minutes to the switch problem to Forest Hills. Train may stand by at stations. The 7:30 a.m. trip from Hill Permanent Point to Long Wharf, north of the Hinghole Gate 5 is canceled due to fuel and delays. Pitch benign, train 406, 6 a.m. for watches operating 5 minutes, span schedule between air and off station. Haveline train 218, 7:25 a.m. for Mayville's operating 10 20 minutes, span schedule between Bedford and off stations. Rockland train 12, 6:13 a.m. for Barkman's operating 5 minutes, span schedule between West Gloucester and North Station. Rockland train 18, 7:13 a.m. Rockport is operating 10 20 minutes, span schedule between West Gloucester and North Station. Province Line train 1814 602 a.m. from Wickford Junction is operating 5 minutes span schedule between Wickford Junction and North Station. Highways on my way to Wing 95, stopping also between South Main Street and taking all the way down to Route 146 in Providence. 146 stopping also at Route 95 and downtown Providence. 195 eastbound also 95 Washington Bridge. 195 westbound also East Providence stretch. 138 westbound side a little bit slow on Jamestown stretch. Manor Bridge on the southbound side a little bit slow in Portsmouth. Route 3 southbound also at Route 6 to Sagamore Cyber Bridge eastbound side a little bit slow. Route 6 eastbound also to south to stretch and Bourne Bridge to the southbound side a little bit slow. Route 25 eastbound also to Route 6 at Bourne. 140 to the northbound side a little bit slow at Route 24 at Taunton and 95 northbound side is back up for Route 128 get stretch. Route 3 southbound also at South Wave stretch. South Expressway is back between the Breakthrough Split down to downtown Boston. South Expressway is back between Mass Pike down to the Breakthrough Split. 93 7 also at Somerville over to downtown Boston. 7 tell Soul Cat also good Pike westbound side. A little bit slower and loader for the South Boston. Route 93 at Buffins also Route 128 to the Redden stretch. 128 on the northbound side back to Woburn on down Linfield and 128 at the northbound side back to PBD stretches and 128 7 also at Route 93 and Redden stretch. 93 7 also to Wilmington stretch. 93 south back between Somerville down to Boston. Pike eastbound side a little bit slower. Route 128 in the western area. Route 128 7 also to Waltham down to Newton. Route 3 7 also at North Billbrook right to Billbrook. 485 northbound side is Slope Street Chester down to Lowell. 485 northbound side is back between Tewksbury stretch and Central Mass Highway South. Look good West Mass Highway South. Look good. 84 eastbound also on West Harvard and Hartford, Connecticut at 291 and Spectre through 5 and 91 and Hartford, Connecticut at 84 eastbound also on 6 and American, Connecticut and Merritt Parkway eastbound also on Tobel down to Orange and Merritt Parkway also on Westport stretch at 85. Northbound also between Fairfield and Stratford at 95. Northbound also at Stratford at 95. Southbound also at Darien, Connecticut area. At Route 101 on the westbound side, those are Manchester, New Hampshire. Peter Childrew's side, 8:02. Time now for weather on this Friday morning. Risk for excessive rainfall and potential street flooding is increased Saturday night for the South Coast. The severe weather risk level also increased for Saturday night. The drier seasonal with better air quality today, but smoke could return again today night overnight. And very muggy Saturday with showers of storms. Treacherous rainfall is possible Saturday late afternoon and overnight, mainly along the around Massachusetts South Coast with a risk of severe weather too and dry out with much less humidity studied early next week, but weather turns active again by mid next week. Dry and seasonable weather with better air quality today, but smoke could return again tonight overnight. Cyclonic flow off coverage southern New England today, but it brings a seasonal cooler but more refreshing air mass right. Early today is early Friday morning there was so some area reported smoke of a haze in the Connecticut of air quality. This was still within the unhealthy for sensitive groups range for a slowly improvement as normally flow takes all the latest smoke at us, but the HRR smoke at RFS shows more considered the smoke gradually for progresses to our south. In the southern New York and Pennsylvania, more than that to fall today's probably expected to work week with better visibility is generally good air quality. To go along with a full set of comfortable humidity levels as high as 2 points less. Couple days big time. Potential risk of sea breezes later today as northwest winds, surface winds ease and the PBL flow decreases around 10 knots and is in a little bit 80s. And for today, we will get a low level of southerly return flow as that occurs and will be get started in the noon most of the night, and again into the southwest flow, but also started to get the smoke layer that has been into our southwest again pre near surface. HR smoke RBF progresses propagate so pretty good inversion development, but we do get the smoke layer to return with the nature of inversion limited mix into those outside later today. And overnight could spell the smoke will lead to the degraded air quality again. It may not be excessive, but it was over the last couple of days again. Very muggy Saturday showers of thunderstorms, rainfall possible Saturday late afternoon and overnight, mainly along the Rhode Island, Massachusetts, South Coast with a whisper of severe weather too. After weather returns for Saturday, especially later today and then overnight and up today, a couple of humidities, but we will turn Absolutely tropical Saturday that occurs a plume of rich moisture source from around the northeast Gulf of Carolina coast that affects northeast weather along the head of it. A series of strong fertile system working away across the eastern Great Lakes, but a strong low to minimal wind fields by mid-July, so 45 knots a night, traffic more about 70 night, and hence a low level. And deep layers shear fires on the main part, touchdowns to the close under some cable of heavy downpours are possible, street flash spreading where repeated storms development, well, at least. So risk for severe weather available. We talk about the below. 900 front, strong integrated water. Vapor transport fields are part, especially for the southeast New England Saturday evening as principal water bill barrels raised about 2.225 inches, about 2. Southern deviation about mid-July climatology, warm cloud. Depth also pushed over 13,000 feet into this big feature just very highly efficient downpour supplies them and massive OPF. It's still uncertain and pretty scattershot, but the potential for excessive rainfall and possible street. And the matter for anything points by the and southeast passage during the evening overnight is what they above. Describe ingredients that maximize the cloud layer for off. There's pretty strong individual storms to be moving along and sitting in one place. We're also not totally in the range of the mesoscale catastrophe that really precludes the further watchful layer shifts could be considered one of the 7 coasts when there's better agreement in mesoscale catastrophe reviewed some of the larger cities of Rhode Island, probably the connect to the work and southeast Massachusetts, no better for fall, where we tend to be vulnerable to flash flood and when rain rates turn excessive, that tend to bring more awareness created the WPC's excessive rainfall. It's estimated decrease of excessive rainfall threat level of site level 2 to 5 along the 7/3 of the 7 New England. The risk looks lower further north away from the 7 coast. Severe weather risk is also increasing. The marginal site risk levels of weak collapse rates. Inspected valves are pretty mean with low nobilized Cape valves, but typical twilight settings and in fact the higher valves take place during the nighttime hours as 2 birds rise, but the low level of deep layer shear profiles are quite strong as 0.1 kilometer shear are valves in only 3 units and notable 0.3 kilometer Cape valves contain. In those really mighty environments which are around 5100 GKG, not especially after the trends notable is partly more secondary risk of the heavy rain possible for the but we wet downbursts and hour. Spin up tornado could develop enough low level and spinning low level shear can match up. Dry now with much less humidity sending early next week, but however turns out again next week. Dry and much less humid weather returns again for the Sunday and then early next week for the seasonal temperatures. We then look to interact again on midweek with global currents, offered up a strong frontal system coming out of the northern plains and interacting with the Gulf of moisture. Okay, forecast goes like this. Today, sun's got 84 degrees, so over about 8 miles after night. Areas of smoke after 10 p.m. Most of the clouds got 57 degrees and west wind about 5 to 7 miles upcoming con for Saturday. Check the showers. With thunders to pulse past 4 p.m. Surface to produce heavy rainfall. Areas of smoke before 3 p.m. Areas skies about 82 degrees on southwest wind coming south at night at 14 miles in the morning. West high as 28 miles at just patient 30% end. New rain reminds us between and according to an avalanche possible. Sunday night shots is possibly a thunderstorm before 3 a.m. The chance to shot storms up between 3 and 5 a.m. Some of us produce heavy rainfall around 6 degrees at about 8 to 10 miles high. 23 miles at just reaches 9%. The new rain reminds between 3/4 1 inch possible. Sunday, set sky at 80 low 59 degrees and over about 9 miles high. 20 miles for Monday, set sky at 83 low 62 degrees coming given southwest wind 5 to 7 miles by the afternoon. Tuesday, put the set sky showers up. So 10 p.m. on Tuesday, about 83 low 67 degrees, over about 5 to 11 miles per hour highs. 23 miles an hour for Wednesday, shots up at 85 degrees low 62 degrees, and start about 9 miles an hour highs. 20 miles an hour just reaches 8% for the Thursday, sets up at 82 degrees, and off for about 6 miles an hour right now, not temperature 69 degrees and first guys. And that's going to be it for our border report on this July 17th, 2026 on a Friday morning at Peter J. Wednesday. Have a good one, by say, say, be well, hopefully be well. Have a good day, good morning.